The state-run media has recently kicked off a campaign of criticism against the United States of America, a long-term strategic partner of Azerbaijan. On December 13th, the Azerbaijan, the official newspaper of Azerbaijan Parliament, published a two-page article titled United States Perverting Freedom. The article focuses on criticism of United States presidents and congressmen. It describes the United States' treatment with other countries as dishonest, invasive, and immoral behavior. The Radio Liberty, Amnesty International, Freedom House, Human Rights Watch, and Transparency International were described as Americans' democratic bludgeons. Philanthropist George Soros is called as a fan of orange revolutions. The reported author of the article, Bakhtiar Sadigov, the editor-in-chief of the newspaper and a member of parliament, refused to speak to Objective TV on the issue. Though many consider that the article was an occasional one, the state-run news agency Azeturk also published an article on January 6 evening criticizing Western circles, including United States of America and international human rights organizations. The article was titled as "The President is the Friend of Journalists," or a few words about the objectivity of so-called independent international NGOs. It was written by the agency's chief director Aslan Aslanov. Undoubtedly, the publication of such an article in the state-run information agency shows that the article in the Azerbaijan newspaper was not occasional. The U.S. Embassy officials also refused to comment on the article and stated that the opinions in the article are the subjective ideas of the author, not of the Azerbaijan government. In a phone talk with Objective TV correspondent, Azerbaijani Foreign Ministry spokesman Elkhan Polukov was reluctant to comment on the article as well. He said that an article in any press outlet should not be assessed as the position of the state. Nonetheless, the article has sparked intense discussions in the community. The head of Azeri Research Center, Wafa Gluzadeh, claims that the article was in fact ordered by Russia and Azerbaijan prefers to be backed by Russia instead of strengthening its integration into Europe. I suppose that this article is an ungrounded step. They didn't foresee its consequences. Besides, the article cannot gain in success. If you sharply criticize, let's say, an enemy, you should punish them. How can we punish the United States? We cannot. But the US is able to punish Azerbaijan easily. We should keep in mind that Azerbaijan should fulfill its obligations. Earlier, US didn't demand it seriously, and the priority of US was to use Azerbaijan's oil fields to make Azerbaijan a suitable transit corridor and to build oil and gas pipelines in Azerbaijan. Now America requires consolidation of a democratic society in this important reason. We cannot respond to it with words. We are not strong enough to fight with America either. If we were, we would have fought with Russia and liberated our lands. According to political expert Zerdush Elzadeh, the ideas in the article were not wrong, however it was wrong to surface such an article. No state is free of shortages. Let's say that Azerbaijan state has enough shortages and the Azerbaijani journalists unveil them. Oppositional civil society speaks about it. It's said that the president and the figures around him are backing the corruption. We speak, we write, we unveil facts, go to courts, say that the prosecutor's office, the courts are involved in criminal deeds. If it were a case in America, those people would certainly be punished, because there's a rule of law in the United States of America. Democratic states also have some shortages, but they hear the complaints of the people and the civil society. Isn't the author of the article aware of it? Of course the author knows it, and at the same time he discredits the American democracy. I suppose that these facts are true. It cannot be denied, but the success of American democracy exceeds its negatives. And the author doesn't speak about the lack of democracy in Azerbaijan. He doesn't say that in Azerbaijan, the facts of law violations unveiled by the civil society, media and oppositional representatives are never considered or investigated. Turan news agency director Mehman Aliyev says that this article will be a blow to both Azerbaijan and the ruling establishment. I have read both articles, and I suppose that they were ordered by the ruling authorities. Because both press outlets are financed from state budget. They are owned by the state, and they cannot leave the framework of the state policy or unveil their own opinions. They do not have right to do so. We all know that this kind of articles in Azerbaijan is only prepared under the leadership of President's office head Ramiz Mehdiyev. That's why I assess this article as the position of the government. Nowadays, we know that there has been problems, tension between America and Azerbaijan government. The reason is that Azerbaijan side refrains from holding democratic reforms and is not eager to fulfill its obligations. And by preparing these articles, Azerbaijan side wants to show that they are ready to defend their positions. Azerbaijani parliamentarian, chairman of Democratic Reforms Party Asim Malazadeh suggests that the ideas in the article belong to the author and could not damage the relations between Azerbaijan and the United States. Actually, such an article would be in favor of a third side who would be interested in creating tension between the United States and America. But it later became clear that it was a product of an author, and the author admitted that it was his position. The newspaper represents the parliament. If the article has no relation to the parliament, then it is the author's position. I am supporting to be tolerant to every author's position. Their position may be wrong, but it is author himself who is responsible. Azerbaijan and the United States cooperate in several spheres. Azerbaijan is an important country for the United States today. By preventing the policy of pro-Armenian representatives in the American Senate and by appointing Matthew Bryzer as American ambassador to Azerbaijan, Obama underlined how important Azerbaijan was for the United States. According to East-West Research Center chairman Ersun Arzulu, the article aims to make Russia, rather than the United States of America, a key partner of Azerbaijan. I suppose that this article was ordered by top authorities of the government. There are serious articles in the Russian press which claim that Azerbaijan will launch war in Nagorno-Karabakh and has received the United States of America's approval. They want to form a public opinion in the society that the United States of America could not solve our problems and our partnership with the United States didn't prove successful. On the other side, I don't rule out that there are strong pro-Russian forces in the ruling establishment which are eager to deteriorate US-Azerbaijan relations. The head of Atlas Research Center, Elkan Shahinoglu, says that actually this article was ordered by the ruling regime and it is an unsuccessful effort to protect this position. Actually, we, the journalists and political experts, sometimes also criticize the American policy as well as the policy of Azerbaijani authorities. But the Azerbaijan is a state-run newspaper and the articles published in this newspaper are accurately prepared and checked by officials. I think that it cannot be a product of any journalist or editor of the newspaper. It was actually ordered by the authorities. Because the facts enumerated there suggest a think that the facts have been gathered for a long time. I think the articles in the Azerbaijan newspaper and state-run information agency Ajtak is a kind of response to the articles in well-known American newspapers which criticize Azerbaijan authorities. On the other side, if the Azerbaijan authorities and state-run newspapers are so brave to criticize America and protect Azerbaijan's interests, then it means they could also criticize other countries, including Russia's policy. Because Russia supports Armenia, which occupied our territories, and provides it with arms. There should also be articles about Iran's policy, so the Azerbaijani authorities aim to protect their interests rather than the state interests, and it is the main reason why such articles are published. It is also worth noting that the most of the ideas covered in the article can also be seen in the Russian websites. Although the reasons and sources for publication of these articles remain unknown, the analysts suppose that its influence on the United States and Azerbaijan relations will certainly be felt in future.